Hello everyone, Ashuna is here. Welcome to the 10th session of presentation ICSE Class 10 Paper 2 Literature in English. In today's class, let us learn the poem Abu Ben Adhem written by Leigh Hunt about the poet. Leigh Hunt is a renowned English poet, writer and essayist. He is a literary gem based on the spirit of fraternity. The poem, first published in The Amulet by S.C. Hall. The poem is Hunt's rendering of a divine encounter between an angel and the Sufi mystic, that is Ibrahim Ben Adhem. Hunt claims that true worship manifests through acts of love and service towards one's fellow men and women. This is a narrative poem where Hunt uses a storytelling technique to convey a profound reflection. Loving one's fellow men is perhaps more virtuous, if not at par with loving the Almighty Himself. So, incidentally, the poem draws from Arabian lore, where in the Islamic month of Naus Shaban, God takes the golden book of mankind and chooses those dear to Him who He will call in the coming year. Thus, indirectly, this is also a poem about a blessed death. So, it is a fitting tribute then that the verse, "Write me as one who loves his fellow men," came to be used in Hunt's epitaph. The legend of Abu Ben Adhem was picked up by Hunt from a French book, Bibliothèque Orientale. Hunt's choice of subject and setting, an Arabian tale with idealistic and supernatural overtones, is an example of romantic Orientalism. So, against this backdrop, the otherworldly quality of the poem is enhanced. Style of the form is used in this poem. Abu Ben Adhem is structured into two stanzas of 9 couplets. Couplets are two constructive lines that rhyme. Here, the couplets are closed, that is, they end with punctuation. The title of the poem is appropriate as the legend of Abu Ben Adhem was picked up by the poet from a French book. The poet has written an enlightening poem based on the spirit of brotherhood. Abu was a pious man and he was declared a saint after his death. He gave up a luxurious life to follow the voice of his conscience and devoted himself to God so that he could serve his fellow men and teach them about peace and harmony. He was the leader of his tribe and helped them greatly. He was an 8th century Sufi mystic. This poem narrates an incident which involves an angel. It serves to teach children about the quality of loving all humans and about universal brotherhood. All the people have the spark of the divine within, and by acknowledging that spark, one demonstrates the love of God. Now, let's deal with the poem. Abu Ben Adhem. Abu Ben Adhem, may his tribe increase, awoke one night from a deep dream of peace and saw within the moonlight in his room, making it rich and like a lily in bloom, an angel writing in a book of gold, exceeding peace had made Ben Adhem bold. And to the presence in the room he said, "What readest thou?" The vision raised its head, and with a look made of all sweet accord, answered, "The names of those who love the Lord." "And is mine one?" said Abu. "Nay, not so," replied the angel. Abu spoke more low, but cheerily still, and said, "I pray thee then, write me as one that loves his fellow men." The angel wrote and vanished. The next night it came again with a great awakening light and showed the names whom love of God had blessed. And lo, Ben Adhem's name led all the rest. Abu Ben Adhem, may his tribe increase, awoke one night from a deep dream of peace and saw within the moonlight in his room, making it rich and like a lily in bloom, an angel writing in a book of gold. The poem opens with the name of the protagonist and a blessing upon him. The use of the parenthesis in may his tribe increase indicates that this portion is not directly linked to the poem itself. Yet, this is a gesture by the poet to declare that here is a man worth remembering for generations to come. The poet describes the scene when the protagonist came across a divine visitor in his room. He mentions, may his tribe increase in brackets, right in the first line in order to signify his wish for the growth of people who follow God and his teachings. These lines are full of visual imagery and metaphors. They describe an awakening. A deep dream of peace refers to a meditative, restful state that Abu Ben Adhem was in. Abu awakens to the presence of the angel, which has already effected a transformation of the room, gilding it, making it look like a lily in bloom. The angel is writing something in a golden book. The simile, like a lily in bloom, conveys the potential of this encounter to bloom into something pure and noble. The fabled book of gold symbolizes its richness and the great value placed on its contents. One night, Abu Ben Adhem awoke from his sleep while he was having a peaceful dream. His room was lit by the moonlight. An angel appeared in his room. Its appearance made the room look luminous and lively. It was beautiful, just like a lily blooming. The poet has made use of direct comparison in this line in order to convey the positivity of Abu felt after he observed the angel sitting in his room. The angel was not just idyllically sitting idly, but was writing something. The book in which he was writing was a book containing the names of people who love God and is referred to as the Book of Gold. Exceeding peace had made Ben Adhem bold, and to the presence in the room he said, what writest thou? The vision raised its head, and with a look made of all sweet accord, answered the names of those who love the Lord. So, here, it is not every day that one has a divine visitor calmly writing away in one's room. Imagine Abu Ben Adhem's astonishment. Then again, feel the tranquil awareness that still comes through. The angel's nonchalant actions could have emboldened him to satisfy his curiosity. Without any preamble, he asked the angel, what readest thou? An old fashioned way of asking, what are you writing? The angel replies in a tone of sweet accord, a voice full of patience and kindness, that it is writing the names of those who have been honored by heaven for their love of God. Another feature to consider in this portion are the ways by which the poet refers to the angel, wise as a presence and as a vision. So, in natural cases, in a similar situation, a person would be scared and the first response would be fear. However, Adam was not scared here. This is the poet's way of conveying that if one has not done any wrong or has never committed a sin, then there is no place for fear. He bravely went up to the angel and asked him what he had been writing or noting in the book. Angels are very pleasant and poised characters. Their presence is an indication that everything around will be for good. Therefore, when Adam raised a concern about what the angel was writing, the angel rose and looked at Adam with a very kind and charming expression. He then answered him in an affirming, sweet voice, stating that he was writing the names of people who loved God. And is mine one? Said Abu. Nay, not so, replied the angel. Abu spoke more low, but cheerily still, and said, I pray thee, then write me as one that loves his fellow men. So when Adam acknowledged this, he was curious to know if his name was included in the list. He therefore immediately asked the angel if his name was included in the list of people who loved God. However, the angel replied in the negative, stating that his name was not on the list. This was a little saddening for Adam, as he expected his name to be on the list. His voice became low, which conveys that he was slightly disheartened. However, he did not lose any hope and cheerfully responded again, requesting the angel to mention his name in a list of people who love their fellow men. He considered it to be a divine deed to love humans who are created by God and follow Him dearly. So eagerly, Abu asks if his love for God has been worthy enough to earn him a place in the angel's heavenly book. The angel's negative answer comes in a kind but matter of fact way, but he still preserves and humbly but cheerfully makes his iconic request to write his name as one who loves his fellow men. Contemplate on the fact that Abu Ben Adam is unsure about his love for God, in contrast to the confidence he has of his love for mankind. Write me as one that loves his fellow men. These are the words that hold the poem's essence and render this poem immortal. The angel wrote and vanished. The next night, it came again with a great awakening light and showed the names whom love of God had blessed, and lo, Ben Adam's name led all the rest. Our angelic host complies and leaves only to return in the next night. Our poet now speaks of a second awakening. Here we see a great awakening light, so bright that it rouses Abu Ben Adam awake. On a metamorphic level, this speaks of an enlightenment. Contrast this with the earlier waking scenario, which is inherently more gentle and subtle. Our heavenly messenger apparently comes with some important news. This is the moment of truth, the point where most readers either smile or scoff. Whatever your reaction, this is where the poem bears the priorities of God. The angel now reveals the names whom God has blessed. To Abu Ben Adam's astonishment, it is his name that leads everyone else's. His love for mankind proved to be valued greater than the others' love of God. So here the angel reappeared with bright luminous light with the next night. So the light was so bright that it awakened Adam. This time the angel showed Adam the names of people who were blessed with the love and affection of God. So God loved and hence blessed these people. The first name on that list was Abu Ben Adams. He was leading everyone on the list. This indicated that he was God's most favorite and his work for human welfare had been recognized and considered by God. It was surprising but also rewarding for him. He is delighted to see that his name leads the list. Here, the poet describes how prayers never go in vain. The same happened with Adam. He had requested to mention his name in the list of people who loved God's fellow men. This was his love for his brothers. The angel acknowledged and accepted his request. The reappearance of the angel justifies that good thoughts and deeds are always valued by God. So, students, here we have winded up the poem. Let us conclude the poem. Abu Ben Adhem is a poem by Leigh Hunt, a key figure of the Romantic movement in England. The poem focuses on an event in the life of the Sufi saint Ibrahim Ben Adhem, angelicized to Abu Ben Adhem. Ben Adhem encounters an angel who is writing a record of those who love God. Learning his name isn't on this list, Ben Adhem instructs the angel to mark him down as one who loves his fellow men. The next night, the angel returns with a second list, those who are blessed by God. Ben Adhem's name is at the top this time, suggesting that God favors those who love their fellow human beings. Indeed, that love for other people is the best way to express love for God. Hunt is not particularly well known for his poetry and is better remembered for his role in facilitating the work of other poets at the time, such as Keats and Shelley. Abu Ben Adhem is one of a handful of Hunt's poems still commonly read. So, here in the poem, Abu Ben Adhem was a ruler of Balkh. He lived a noble life. He dedicated his life to the service of his humanity. By may his tribe increase, the poet prays to God that men like Abu may increase. The narrator holds Abu in high esteem. Abu was a man of clean conscience. He had no enemies, he had no worries, he was a saintly man, and so he always had a peaceful and undisturbed sleep. Abu's room looked bright in the moonlight night. The angel looked like a lily that was going to bloom because in the moonlight the radiant angel looked brighter and more beautiful. Abu saw an angel in his room. The angel was writing in a golden book. The book of gold refers to heavenly book in which good deeds of mortals are recorded. The angel is referred to as the presence. Abu asks the presence what he is writing in the golden book. The angel is referred to as the vision here. He raised his head to answer Abu's question. The angel tells Abu that he was writing the names of those men who loved God. Abu is curious to know if his name is also there among those who love God. Abu is not disheartened. He is not disheartened, but he is more humble and polite. The angel's reply does not dishearten Abu. The words, but surely still, tell us that he was not disheartened. Very politely and cheerfully, he requests the angel to write his name among those who love their fellow humans. The angel considered to Abu's request and wrote his name as one who loved his fellow men. Then the angel vanished. He appeared again the next night. He showed Abu that his name was on the top of the list, whom God loved. Abu Ben Adhem was not strictly a religious man. He did not worship God. He just served every human who needed any help. But God was pleased with him. God loved him because he loved his creation. The angel appeared again with such a dazzling light that awakened Abu. It came to Abu as a great surprise that his name was on the top of those men whom God had blessed with his love. The angel showed Abu a list of those men whom God loved. It was absolutely surprising that the man who was not one among those who loved God led the list of those men whom God loved. The theme of the poem is simple. Service to humanity is the true worship of God. God loves those who love their fellow human beings. The speaker blesses Abu Ben Adhem, who has just woken up from a deep, peaceful sleep. Looking around his moonlit bedroom, when Ben Adhem notices that the room is filled with a sense of pure loveliness, like that of a blooming lily, by the presence of an angel who is writing in a golden book. Ben Adhem's peaceful life thus far has made him fearless. And so he asks the angel what it is writing, looking up compassionately. The angel answers that it is making a list of the people who love God. Ben Adhem asks if his name was there in the list. It isn't, replied the angel. Unworried, Ben Adam implores the angel to record his name as some that loves other people instead. So here the angel fulfills Ben Adam's request before disappearing. The next night it returns in a blaze of light, holding a new list of people blessed by God. So Ben Adam's name is at the top. So, overall, the main theme of the poem is that the simpler theme of the poem is that service to humanity is the true worship of God. Now, let us know the figures of speech used in the poem. Leigh Hunt has used several figures of speech and other poetic devices in his famous poem Abu Ben Adhem. Assonance and consonance. Here, students, you can see the sounds I have highlighted in each line. Please concentrate while I read it. Abu Ben Adhem, may his tribe increase. Assonance. Deep dream of peace. Assonance. It came again with great wakening light. Assonance. Abu spoke more low. Assonance. Deep dream of peace. Consonance or alliteration. Who love the Lord. Again, consonance or alliteration. Here, assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in nearby words, and consonance is its consonant counterpart. Next, simile. Simile is a direct comparison between two different things using as or like. For example, here, making it rich and like a lily in bloom. So, the moonlit room is compared to a lily in bloom. Symbolism. The poet has used symbols to suggest something more than the literal meaning of the words. For example, here, it came again with a great wakening light. Here, wakening light not only suggests awakening from sleep, but also the awakening of mind with the wisdom that the angel carried. Loving one's fellow men is more virtuous than loving the Almighty Himself. That is why Abu's name topped the angels' list. The phrase here, making it rich, in line 4 has a similar symbolic meaning. Archaism. Here, archaism means old fashioned, the style of language in old fashion. The poet has used archaic words in what readest thou? Nay, not so. I pray thee then, etc., etc., to bring an old world feel to the poem. Home assignment. Answer the following questions. As per the poem Abu Ben Adhem, what is true devotion to God? What kind of person was Abu Ben Adhem? Describe his character with an example. What is the significance of the book of gold? Why was Adam not happy with the angel's reply? What did Adam ask him to do? Thank you all.